In the first video of this series, we talked about how cats developed their entire communication system specifically for humans. In the second video, we decoded tail language, that real-time mood ring that tells you exactly how your cat is feeling. If you haven't watched those yet, I'll link them right up here, because we're building a complete picture of how your cat talks to you. Today, we're diving into something that might surprise you. Those meows your cat makes? They're not random, they're not just noise. And here's the really mind-blowing part. Your cat invented meowing specifically for you. Adult cats in the wild don't meow at each other. Kittens meow to get their mother's attention. But once they're grown, wild cats go almost completely silent with each other. They communicate through body language and scent. But domestic cats? They meow constantly, and they only do it with humans. Your cat has literally developed a custom language just to talk to you. And every meow, every trill, every chirp has a specific meaning that you can learn to understand. So let's decode this language together. Let me tell you about Patricia. She's 63, a retired teacher, living in a small town in Ohio. And she shares her home with Mr. Whiskers, a 12-year-old orange tabby she adopted after her youngest moved out for college 8 years ago. For the first few years, Patricia thought she and Mr. Whiskers understood each other pretty well. He'd meow, she'd respond. They'd go about their day. But then something shifted. Patricia retired. Suddenly, she was home all day instead of gone for 8 hours, and Mr. Whiskers started meowing constantly. Morning, afternoon, evening. Different meows, different pitches, different rhythms. Patricia had no idea what he was trying to tell her. She'd offer food. Sometimes that worked, sometimes it didn't. She'd try to play. Sometimes he was interested, sometimes he'd walk away. She'd pet him, and sometimes he'd purr, other times he'd leave the room. Patricia told me, I felt like Mr. Whiskers was trying to have entire conversations with me, and I was just guessing randomly at what he meant. I'd respond to his meows, but half the time I was clearly giving him the wrong answer because he'd just meow louder or walk away frustrated. I started feeling like maybe I'd never really understood my cat at all. Then Patricia started paying attention. Really paying attention. Not just to whether Mr. Whiskers was meowing, but to how he was meowing. The pitch, the length, the rhythm, the context. And that's when everything clicked. Mr. Whiskers wasn't making random sounds. He had a vocabulary. Different meows meant different things. And once Patricia learned to translate, those constant meows stopped being confusing noise and started being clear communication. Here's what Patricia discovered and what you're about to learn. Cats customize their meows for their specific humans. Your cat has learned through years of trial and error which sounds get your attention and which responses they produce. Every cat develops their own unique acoustic signature based on what works with you. So your cat's meows might sound completely different from your neighbor's cat's meows because they've learned different human languages. This is fascinating, and it explains why you can often tell what your cat wants even if you can't articulate how you know. You've been learning their specific meow vocabulary without even realizing it. Today, we're going to make that unconscious knowledge conscious. We're going to break down the different types of meows and what they typically mean so you can respond accurately instead of guessing. Let's start with the short meow, sometimes called a chirp or a quick little me sound. This is usually a greeting or acknowledgement. Your cat walks into the room and gives you a quick meow. That's hello. That's I see you, you see me. We're acknowledging each other's presence. It's the feline equivalent of a head nod. This is friendly, low-stakes communication. Your cat is being polite. You'll hear this short meow when your cat first sees you in the morning, when you come home from being out, when they walk into a room where you are, or when you walk into a room where they are. It's social behavior. Your cat is maintaining the relationship through verbal check-ins. The appropriate response? A short greeting back. Hey buddy, or hi sweetie, or just a soft acknowledgement. Your cat doesn't need anything specific. They just wanted to say hello. Patricia noticed that Mr. Whiskers did this every single time she moved from one room to another. A quick chirp. Oh, you're in the kitchen now. Hello. Another chirp when she moved to the living room. You're here now. Hello. She used to ignore these because she thought they were meaningless sounds. But once she started responding with a quick greeting back, Mr. Whiskers seemed more settled. He'd been trying to maintain social connection, and she'd been inadvertently ignoring him. Next, we have multiple short meows in succession. Mew, 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 or may, may, rapid fire. This often indicates excitement or heightened interest. Your cat sees something engaging. Maybe you're opening their favorite treats. Maybe they spotted a bird out the window. Maybe you just got home after being gone all day. These rapid meows communicate arousal in the psychological sense, not the sexual sense. Something has captured your cat's attention and they're excited about it. The appropriate response depends on what they're excited about. If they're excited because you're preparing their food, acknowledge their excitement. I know, dinner's coming. If they're excited about a bird outside, you might engage with them. You see that? That's a big bird, huh? Or offer a toy to redirect the hunting energy. The key is recognizing that these rapid meows are expressing enthusiasm, not demand, even though they can sound urgent. Then we have the mid-pitch, standard meow. This is probably what you think of when you think cat meow. It's the most common vocalization and tends to be a general request or attention-seeking behavior. Your cat wants something, and they're politely asking for it. Food, access to a room, attention, playtime. This is your cat's all-purpose, human sound. The context will tell you what they're specifically requesting, but the meow itself is just opening the conversation. Let me tell you about Diane. She's 58, works part-time at a bookstore, and lives with her cat Luna, who she adopted from a shelter 3 years ago after her divorce. Diane noticed that Luna would give her this specific mid-pitch meow while sitting by the back door. At first, Diane thought Luna wanted to go outside, but Luna is strictly an indoor cat and would just sit there if Diane opened the door. Diane was confused. What did Luna want? Then Diane realized something. Luna's food and water bowls were right next to the back door. The meow wasn't, I want to go out, it was, I want something in this general area. Diane started checking the bowls when Luna gave that meow, and sure enough, usually the water bowl was empty or the food bowl was low. Luna was saying, "Excuse me, I need service over here." Once Diane made that connection, the meow made perfect sense. This is why context matters so much. The same standard meow can mean different things depending on where your cat is, what time of day it is, what they're looking at, and what typically happens in that situation. Your cat standing by their empty food bowl at dinner time and meowing, they want food. Your cat sitting by a closed door and meowing, they want the door opened. Your cat approaching you with a toy in their mouth and meowing, they want to play. Same sound, different requests, interpreted through context. Now let's talk about the drawn-out meow. Meow! Long, sustained, sometimes almost like a moan. This often indicates a stronger demand or mild complaint. Your cat wants something, and they want it now, or they're expressing mild frustration that it hasn't happened yet. You've probably heard this one at feeding time if you're running late with their meal, or when they're on the wrong side of a closed door and want through. The longer the meow, the more emphatic the request or complaint. Patricia discovered that Mr. Whiskers used this long meow specifically when she was sitting in her reading chair and he wanted her lap. Not a request for food, not a request to play. He wanted her to be available for lap sitting, and he'd stand in front of her chair, giving these long, drawn-out meows until she'd put down her book and make her lap accessible. Once she understood what he was asking for, she could respond appropriately. Okay, come on up. Here's where it gets really important to pay attention, though. The high-pitched meow. This can mean very different things depending on volume and context. A soft, high-pitched meow is often affectionate or attention-seeking in a gentle way. It's almost like baby talk. Your cat is being sweet and asking for affection or interaction in a soft voice. This is a positive sound. But a loud, high-pitched meow, especially if it's sudden or unusual for your cat, can indicate pain, distress, or fear. If your normally low-voiced cat suddenly starts making high, piercing meows, something is wrong. They might be hurt, sick, or terrified. This is a sound you need to pay attention to immediately. This is your cat's alarm bell, their distress signal. Let me tell you about Helen. She's 67, retired from nursing, and lives with 2 cats, Pepper and Salt. Helen noticed that Pepper, who was usually a very quiet cat, started making these high-pitched, piercing meows one morning. Not his normal voice at all. Helen's first instinct was that something was terribly wrong, and she was right. She checked Pepper over carefully and found that he was straining to urinate. He was in pain and crying out. Helen rushed him to the emergency vet, and it turned out Pepper had a urinary blockage, a life-threatening condition that requires immediate treatment. The vet told Helen that her quick response, recognizing that those high-pitched meows were a distress signal, likely saved Pepper's life. If she'd ignored those meows or dismissed them as just Pepper being dramatic, the outcome could have been tragic. So always pay attention when your cat's vocalization suddenly changes, especially if they start making sounds they don't normally make. A sudden increase in volume, a change in pitch, persistent vocalization, those are all potential indicators that something is medically wrong. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the low-pitched meow, down in the bass register, sometimes almost growly. This can indicate complaint, dissatisfaction, or warning. Your cat is not happy about something. Maybe you picked them up when they didn't want to be held. Maybe you're late with dinner. Maybe they're warning you away from something they consider theirs. This is grumpier communication. Your cat is telling you they're displeased. The appropriate response is to figure out what's bothering them and address it, or give them space. If you just pick them up and they give you a low, grumbly meow, put them down. They didn't want to be held. If they're giving you that low meow while staring at their empty food bowl, they're complaining about the service around here. If they're sitting on a piece of furniture and giving you that low meow as you approach, they're saying, "This is mine right now, don't invade my space." Patricia learned that Mr. Whiskers had a very specific low-pitched meow he'd use when she tried to move him off her favorite chair. It wasn't aggressive, he'd never scratch or bite, but that low meow was clearly him saying, "I was here first, and I'm not thrilled about being relocated." Once, Patricia recognized this as a complaint rather than aggression. She'd either give him a minute to move on his own or gently encourage him with a treat to relocate voluntarily. The low meow was his way of expressing an opinion, and she learned to respect it. Now let's talk about some of the more specialized vocalizations that aren't exactly meows, but are part of your cat's vocal repertoire. The trill, sometimes called a chirp. It's a rolled, rising sound, almost like a combination of a meow and a purr, that sounds like burp or purp. This is one of the most positive sounds your cat can make. It's a friendly greeting, an invitation to interact, or an expression of happiness. Mother cats trill at their kittens to get their attention or encourage them to follow. Adult cats maintain this vocalization primarily for humans. If your cat trills at you, they're essentially saying, "Hey, come here, I want to show you something," or "Hi, I'm so happy to see you," or "Follow me, I have something important." It's an invitation to engagement. Diane noticed that Luna would trill at her specifically when Diane first woke up in the morning. Luna would jump on the bed, give that happy trill, and then lead Diane to the food bowls. It was Luna's way of saying, "Good morning, you're awake, excellent, let's start the day with breakfast." The trill was enthusiastic and expectant, completely different from a demanding meow. Once Diane understood this was an invitation rather than a demand, she found it endearing rather than annoying. Then we have the chirp or chatter. This is that funny, rapid-fire, teeth-chattering sound cats make, usually when they're watching birds or other prey animals through a window. It sounds like ek, 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 or a series of very fast clicking sounds. This is hunting excitement and frustration. Your cat's predator brain is fully activated. They're intensely focused on potential prey, and they're experiencing the conflicting emotions of excitement to hunt and frustration that they can't reach the prey. Some behaviorists think the chattering might be a practice motion for the killing bite cats deliver to prey. Others think it might be involuntary excitement behavior. Either way, if your cat is chattering at birds through the window, they're in full hunting mode. This is a positive expression of natural behavior. Your cat is mentally stimulated and engaged. The appropriate response is either to let them watch or to redirect that hunting energy into play with an appropriate toy. Now, purring. Everyone knows cats purr when they're happy, right? Well, mostly. Purring is generally a sign of contentment, relaxation, and pleasure. Cats purr when they're being petted, when they're comfortable and safe, when they're nursing as kittens, when they're grooming each other. It's a self-soothing and bonding sound. The vibration frequency of purring has even been shown to promote healing and reduce pain in cats. But here's something most people don't know. Cats also purr when they're stressed, in pain, or dying. Purring can be a self-soothing mechanism in distressing situations. So while purring usually means happiness, you need to read the context. A cat purring while curled up in your lap, relaxed, eyes half closed, that's contentment. A cat purring at the vet while their body is tense and their ears are back, that's stress purring. They're trying to calm themselves down. Helen learned this after Pepper's emergency vet visit. While the vet was examining Pepper, he was purring, and Helen initially thought, "Oh, he's okay, he's purring." But the vet gently pointed out that Pepper's body language, tense, ears back, dilated pupils, indicated fear and pain. The purring was a coping mechanism, not a sign of happiness. This completely changed how Helen interpreted purring going forward. She learned to look at the whole picture, not just listen to the sound. Then we have the yowl. This is a long, drawn-out, loud vocalization. That sounds distressed or urgent. Yowling can indicate several things. Cats in heat yowl to attract mates. Intact male cats yowl when they smell a female in heat nearby. Cats in pain or distress yowl. Senior cats with cognitive dysfunction sometimes yowl, especially at night. Cats who are feeling territorial or confrontational yowl at each other. If your cat is spayed or neutered and suddenly starts yowling, especially if it's a new behavior, you need to investigate. Check for signs of pain or discomfort. Consider whether anything in their environment changed that might be stressing them. If the yowling is persistent or accompanied by other behavioral changes, a vet visit is warranted. Yowling is your cat saying something is significantly wrong or urgent. Patricia dealt with this when Mr. Whiskers entered his senior years. He started yowling at night, wandering around the house, making these loud, distressed-sounding calls. Patricia took him to the vet and discovered he was developing cognitive dysfunction, essentially feline dementia. The yowling was disorientation and anxiety. The vet helped Patricia create a management plan, including night lights so Mr. Whiskers could see better at night, a more consistent routine, and some environmental enrichment. The yowling decreased significantly once his needs were addressed. And finally, we have hissing, growling, and spitting. These aren't friendly vocalizations. These are clear warnings. Your cat is frightened, threatened, or aggressive. They're telling whatever is threatening them to back off immediately. These sounds should never be ignored or punished. They're important communication that your cat feels unsafe. If your cat hisses, growls, or spits at you, stop what you're doing immediately and give them space. They're telling you they're at their limit. If they're directing these sounds at another animal or person, you need to remove the threat or remove your cat from the situation. These vocalizations are the last warning before your cat resorts to physical defense, scratching and biting. Diane experienced this when her adult son visited with his new dog. Luna, who'd never seen a dog before, immediately went into defensive mode. She hissed, her tail puffed up, her body went sideways. Diane's son wanted to try to introduce them anyway, thinking Luna would calm down, but Diane had learned to respect cat communication. She immediately took Luna to a separate room, gave her space and time to calm down, and kept the dog visit short and in a different part of the house. Luna's hissing was a clear, "I'm terrified, get that thing away from me," and Diane listened. So now you know the basic vocabulary. Short meows are greetings. Rapid meows are excitement. Standard meows are requests. Long meows are demands or complaints. High-pitched meows can be affection or distress depending on context. Low-pitched meows are displeasure. Trills are friendly invitations. Chattering is hunting excitement. Purring is usually contentment but sometimes stress. Yowling is urgency or distress. Hissing and growling are warnings. But here's the really important part. Your specific cat has customized this vocabulary for you. The standard meow might sound different coming from your cat than from another cat. Your cat might use certain sounds more frequently than others. Your cat might have developed completely unique vocalizations that aren't on this list at all. This is why your homework for this video is so important. For the next 3 days, every time your cat vocalizes, pay attention. What sound are they making? What's the pitch, the length, the rhythm? What are they doing? Where are they? What time of day is it? What usually happens after they make that sound? What do you usually do in response? Start building your cat's personal dictionary. Start recognizing patterns. Oh, when my cat makes this specific sound while sitting by the window, they want me to come look at something outside. When they make this other sound while standing by their food bowl, they want food. When they make this third sound while I'm in my reading chair, they want lap time. The more you pay attention, the more fluent you'll become. And here's what's amazing. Once you start responding accurately to your cat's vocalizations, your cat will use them even more effectively. They'll realize you finally understand, and they'll refine their communication even further. You're building a shared language together. So come to the comments and tell me, what sounds does your cat make that you've now figured out the meaning of? What's their most common vocalization, and what does it mean in your household? Share your cat's unique vocabulary because I guarantee there are sounds and meanings that are specific to your relationship that will fascinate other cat owners. Patricia, Diane, Helen, they all started where you are now. Living with cats they loved but not fully understanding what those cats were trying to tell them. But once they learned to really listen, to decode the vocalizations, to respond appropriately, everything changed. The cats became less frustrated. The communication became clearer. The bond deepened. Your cat has been talking to you since the day you met them. Every meow, every trill, every purr has been communication. All you have to do is learn to understand what they're saying. And now you can. In the next video, we're going to talk about something most cat owners completely overlook, but that's absolutely essential to understanding your cat. We're going to decode body language and facial expressions, all those subtle signals your cat is giving you with their ears, eyes, whiskers, and posture. Because vocalizations are just one channel of communication. Your cat is talking to you with their entire body, and most people are missing 90% of those messages. But for now, go listen to your cat. Really listen. Pay attention to the sounds they're making and what those sounds mean. Respond accurately. And watch how excited your cat gets when they realize you finally understand what they've been trying to tell you all along. Your cat has been talking, and now you're finally hearing them.